And I just want to say, as somebody who has a deep special interest as an autistic person in digital media literacy, and somebody who has deeply, extensively studied digital media literacy in my Master's of Education program, this type of propaganda, because that's what this is a piece of propaganda that will be written about in history books, because it's that bad.
Look, I don't want to be overly dramatic like the woman we just watched in that clip, but am I the only one that is starting to get worried after seeing this crazy response to the Sweeney blue jeans commercial? I mean, hear me out really quickly. It's very easy to make fun of people like the woman at the beginning of this video. It's low-hanging fruit. I could do it all day. But when you really think about it, the joke is on us. Because people like her are a dime a dozen, and we have to live with these people. We have to share a country with these people. And maybe, and I hope this is the case, maybe the internet makes things look worse than what they really are. But in my estimation, I fully believe that we are living in a country where at least half of the population is off their rocker. And I'm not just talking about the people on the left. There's crazy people on the right. There's crazy people on all sides. I fully believe that at least half of this country has gone off the deep end in one way or the other. I mean, look at that clip, y'all. Really go back and look at the clip at the beginning of this video. This woman is freaking out over a commercial. Nothing happens on this commercial other than a white woman modeling a pair of blue jeans, putting on a pair of pants. One of the most basic commercials you could think of. Yet look at the reaction it caused in that woman. She's literally rocking back and forth, going crazy, filled with anxiety, doesn't know how to process her emotions because she saw a white woman on an American Eagle commercial, and she's rocking back and forth talking about, oh my God, this is going to make history. This commercial is going to be in the history books. She completely lost it. She can't even control herself. She's rocking back and forth like a freaking madman in an insane asylum. Throw a straitjacket on her. This is going to be written about in the history books. The blue jeans commercial. 3 or 4 weeks from now, people probably won't even be thinking about this commercial anymore unless these people continue to rage out about it. I wouldn't have talked about this commercial at all if it wasn't for the reaction to it. But at some point, we have to stop pointing the fingers and laughing at these people. That's what we've been doing for the last few years. These people deserve to be mocked. I'm not trying to protect them, but at some point in time, we have to realize as we're pointing and laughing that the joke is really on us. Because we have to deal with these people. And it seems like these people are multiplying. And you really got to wonder, how can we continue running a functioning society when half of our society has been overridden by people like this that see a white person in a blue jeans commercial and they start rocking back and forth and going crazy? If things are this bad now, how are things going to be in 2 or 3 years? Is there a way to reverse course? Is there a way to drag these people out of their mental illnesses and bring them back to reality? I don't know. But like I said, at some point, and I'm not done laughing at these people yet, but at some point, we got to start to look at the bigger picture here. We got to start recognizing this for the problem that it is. We can point and laugh and we can make jokes, But that doesn't necessarily make the problem go away, although I do think it helps the problem to mock these people. But yeah, folks, I look at this, I look at the response to this commercial, and I'm starting to get worried about the future of our country, the future of our society, when half of our society is people like the one we just watched at the beginning of this video. But the meltdowns and the delusional rants are plentiful. However, I want to point out something else that I've noticed. This is a tactic that these people use, and I've become very familiar with it because they do this all the time. What they do is they come out and they collectively freak out over something stupid like the Sydney Sweeney commercial. And for days on end, these people freak out, they send out death threats, they say all types of heinous, ugly, despicable things, the most gross things you can imagine. They put just how evil and vile they are on full display. They attack white people, they'll do whatever, right? For 2 or 3 days on end. And then, a few days later, after they're done spreading all of their hatred, the same people collectively come together to pretend like none of it ever happened. And then they gaslight everyone. And it's crazy to watch. I've watched this happen in real time just this week. We had like almost an entire week of meltdowns over this commercial. And now all of these same people who were melting down, going on racist rants, flipping out, shaking, rocking back and forth in their cars, filming TikTok videos, now they're all collectively coming together to act like no one ever cared about the Sydney Sweeney stuff, and that it was just everyone else lying and making it a big deal, right? And there's no shame in their game. They are very aware that they have left behind all kinds of receipts. We can pull up the videos, we can pull up the clips, we can pull up the social media post of these people freaking out over the commercial. That doesn't matter to them, because they will all come together collectively to pretend like it never happened. Because as I've been telling people for a long time, these kind of people, they live in an alternate reality. They feel like they can shape reality on their own. These are the same people who think men can get pregnant too and men have periods too. So in their minds, they feel like they can just pretend like things never happened, even though they did. So we're watching that right now. We're watching some of the same prominent voices that came out here spewing a bunch of racist stuff towards white people, freaking out over this commercial. We are now watching these same people try to gaslight people into believing that they never did any of that, that everyone else was overreacting. No one ever cared about Sydney Sweeney. No one was ever jealous of Sydney Sweeney. What are you guys talking about? You must be crazy. That's how insane these people are. And in fact, I have a clip for you. I have an example of this that I want to show you guys really quickly. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
No way sitting around here jealous of Sydney Sweeney. Like, I hope you understand that. Like, guys, fellas, compadres, no woman is sitting around going, gee, I wish some dirty ass dude who washes himself on Tuesday only with a greasy ass mullet was thirsting after my ass right now. That is not a thought. That is not a thought that is going through any woman's head right now. They also don't wish they look like her. She is incredibly basic. She's so fucking basic that she was the perfect candidate for a white supremacist jean commercial. And like, if you're a dude who legitimately, like, if I were to ask you as a dude, hey, who are your top 10 women, right? And Sydney Sweeney was on that list, and if Sydney Sweeney was anywhere close to the top, I would just assume that you never experience women. And I use the word experience on purpose. Like, do y'all not pay attention to trends? Do you think any woman is sitting up here like, wow, damn, I wish I had an average cup size, bleach blonde hair, and no ass? Like, do you think any woman in 2025 is wishing that was her? I cannot stress this enough, fellas. They are glad that y'all are thirsting after Sydney Sweeney and not them. If there's a male loneliness epidemic and y'all think it's because women aren't giving you a chance, what the fuck makes you think they would be jealous of somebody like Sydney fucking Sweeney? If y'all had a brain, y'all be dangerous.
I don't know about you guys, but the last thing I need is some gay dude with 3.5 cups of sugar in his tank trying to lecture me about women. Y'all have never experienced women. I don't think you've ever experienced women, but I know you've experienced a booty hole. Am I right? Am I right? But anyways, he goes on this whole rant. No one's jealous of Sydney Sweeney. Why would anybody be jealous of Sydney Sweeney? As if we don't have dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens of videos of women literally breaking down, crying, jealous of Sydney Sweeney. We have tons of videos. Women aren't even hiding it. They're telling you, oh my God, this brought back childhood trauma because I saw a pretty blonde white girl. I always wanted to be a pretty blonde white girl when I was growing up, and I couldn't be. So now I'm triggered and I'm so upset by this commercial. What? Yeah. Turns out a lot of these women are jealous of Sydney Sweeney. It's blatantly obvious. Most, not all of them, but a lot of them are straight up telling you that. When you see a woman saying that she doesn't think she's beautiful anymore because of the Sydney Sweeney commercial, and she's crying in her living room, filming TikTok videos, blaming white supremacy for the reason why she feels ugly. But these people are now going to actively pretend like that never happened. What, you think people are jealous of Sydney Sweeney? You're crazy. Why would anybody be jealous of her? I'm not jealous of Sydney Sweeney. I think I got nicer tits than her. But seriously, in all seriousness, these people are obviously jealous. And you could find as many gay black dudes as you want to film videos pretending that everyone's not jealous. The reality is the guy in that video is jealous too. He wants to be a pretty blonde white girl so he can get his box pounded. Okay? He wants to get pounded out like Sydney Sweeney. That's why he's mad. And that's why a lot of these other females are mad. And look, I like all women. A skinny white woman might not even be the first type of woman I go after. I like thick women too. But the reality is people see this Sydney Sweeney ad and they feel as if we are headed into a different direction when it comes to beauty standards. They feel like we may be going back to the norm, which I don't think is a bad thing. Because I don't know what direction we've been going in lately, but the 700-pound freaking bull piercing in the nose, shaving off half your head, dyeing your head all of these crazy colors, filling yourself with tattoos, burping all over the camera, talking about what a slut you are 24/7. Yeah, I think we've gone too far in that direction. Now we need some course correction. And these people are afraid because when the course gets corrected, they're going to be kind of out of the bubble of what people are, at least what beauty standards are these days. You got a lot of people out here that have paid thousands upon thousands of dollars to get BBLs. They're walking around with monster butts. And I like big butts. But these botched BBLs out here are looking crazy. So a lot of these women are realizing, wait, I spent all of this money following up with the Kardashians, following up with all of this nonsense, just for some regular white woman to go on a blue jeans commercial and take the world by storm. He talks about how Sydney Sweeney is basic and this and that. I don't necessarily agree, but that's the draw to Sydney Sweeney. That's the charm that is there. That's why so many of these women are freaking out. And when you see the women that are freaking out, most of them, not all of them, have gone out of their way to make themselves look eccentric, right? Like I said, they got all the piercings, all the tattoos, the different color hair. They've gone out of their way to make themselves look different. Because for the last few years, we've been told that that is what is attractive, even though most people don't agree. So they see someone who, in his words, is a basic white woman getting all of this love, and they freak out. Because a lot of these women have spent all types of money, all types of time, altering their appearance, making themselves look stupid, and now a regular white woman is getting all of the attention. And a lot of the people freaking out were regular white women themselves before they decided to go full-blown far leftist liberal crazy to the point that they decided to mess up their own appearances and make themselves look less attractive. So the basicness of it, and I'm not saying that Sydney Sweeney is a basic bitch, that's not what I'm saying, but the basicness, the simplicity of Sydney Sweeney is why people are freaking out. So at the very least, he kind of got that right. He just doesn't understand. He just doesn't understand the draw there. Because I think the reality is a lot of men, and I can't speak for everyone, and everyone has different tastes, and I can find the beauty in all types of women. And I don't want you guys to think that, oh, I think all women with piercings are ugly. No, I don't think that. I don't have something against all women with tattoos and purple hair or blue hair. No. There's attractive women all over the place, of all types of different looks, styles, and backgrounds. But the simplicity of Sydney Sweeney, not having the BBL butt, not doing all of these other things, that's why these people are intimidated. Because for the last decade or so, they've been throwing these crazy looking people out here in Hollywood, and beauty standards were just all the way, I don't even know what they became. We got to the point where everyone had to be like gender neutral them days. It just got really weird. It got really weird. And when things got really weird, a lot of these people felt more comfortable because they look weird and crazy. And as things go back to kind of normal, I don't think we're ever fully going back to normal, but as things normalize a little bit, these people are starting to feel left out. They feel threatened. They look at Sydney Sweeney and they feel way more threatened by her than they do a video model vixen with a big BBL butt and big tits and big lips and this color skin or that color skin. They're way more intimidated by the normal woman because they're afraid that people are going to want more normal looking people. And a lot of these people don't look normal. So you can really boil it down to that. But with all of that being said, you guys go ahead and let me know what you think of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.